do, sports fans? 12:30 in the morning. It is October 1st, 2020. It is another day at this point, believe it, John. See how you doing? There are some days I can actually sleep through, and other times I can't sleep. Which kind of takes me off a little bit because now it means I don't know, it just drives me crazy, that's all. I was up for a while, trying to go over what information that the CDC was going to be talking about cruising. There's not many things left for me to look forward to when I get older. I was a younger kid. You thought the sky was the limit. Everything was the limit. And you're going to go surpass it one way or another. And sometimes it didn't show that way, did it? It didn't happen that way. Oh, other things happen in life, and makes you take twists and turns left and right. Of course, when you're stuck on comics and stuck on cartoons, sometimes growing up as a kid, they seem to be the only hope. And you look at the animation and you're like, wow, I wish I was one of those guys. Years, or I'd say decades later, you look back at the stuff like, must have been nice being young and insane during that time. Watching all those nice adventures of cartoon characters. All those animators with the imagination to create such situations that keep repeating himself every damn episode. Never seemed to be a ceaseless ending of the same scenarios. Different locations, maybe different people, but the same damn scenarios all the time. Have a battle, have a pause. Have a battle, have a pause. Have a battle, have a pause. Till you get to the major battle at the end. Then maybe there's a slight pause, and then there's the ending right there. And what usually got you hooked in a show is when you had those long-ass intros, about a minute more. Now, there had been soundtracks made off of those cartoons. 2 or 3, maybe 4 minutes if you're lucky. And at the time, it was cool because you hear the guitar usually would get you. Not the orchestra sometimes, or the fast-paced music. They had a good rock and roll guitar in there, playing a solo in there somewhere. Got your attention. Get older, and it's not exactly the cartoons you look at. It was the music that you were listening to, the soundtrack. That was me. See, when it was a television show or a movie, I was paying attention to the music as well. Besides watching the characters and besides watching the action sometimes. But sometimes the music that they had in there, if it was the right kind of music, it'll stick in your head. You have to keep watching the show, the intro again and again, really get hooked into the damn thing. Or the ending credits sometimes made you really appreciate. It made you appreciate music all that much. A lot of musicians out there had a lot of talent, especially when it came down for the cartoons in the 1980s. Sorry, I'm watching my dog walking by. Just trying to make sure she's getting out of trouble. But no, when I was on YouTube and I was flipping through some of the channels and I'm checking some of the old cartoons that they already had loaded up on there. Some videos are already deleted, but others are still on there. And besides the music, I know there was kids out there watching the damn animations of it. The characters, how they were formed, how they were shaped. And a lot of people had their favorite characters, favorite heroes and heroines. I know a politically correct terminology that they brought out in the late 80s, 90s, that they had to drop some of the descriptions we would have concerning about women, and we had to put them in a masculine term instead of a feminine term. You know, no longer actresses or actors. Everybody's an actor. You have heroines and you have heroes. Well, I'm sorry, they're heroes. They're no longer heroines. Besides, heroin is a drug. No, wait a second, I thought that was a female hero. No, it's a drug. How are you sure about that? Yes, I am sure. English language can be so screwed up, especially when political correctness gets in there. And you can't even look at your shows, you can't even look at your cartoons or anymore, and just, what the hell is it? Are the heroes or the heroines? I get more and more appreciative of the cartoons I grew up with compared to shows I've seen these days. And they lost all that appeal somehow. You know, cartoons were trying to get more and more sophisticated throughout the decades. And we thought the ultimate sophistication was back in the 80s and maybe some of the 90s. But when you have the live action actors going on like crazy, or actors, it kind of took over some of their children's shows left and right. Especially when they're Japanese based and then you have the American dubbing or the American actors or actresses taking over to continue the Japanese saga, either by animation or by the live. And still the themes would be there. You still know the show by the themes. I had watched series that borderlined on adult and children when it came out in the 80s. You know, cartoon violence was one thing, but when you kept seeing characters die off or get blown apart, it really gets more sophisticated and more realistic. And you really had to develop a thick skin and a taste for it. Because you graduated from the simple beat the guy up or zap him, he falls down stunned like crazy, and you know he's coming back up again. No. We're talking about bullet holes left and right or blowing his ass up or blood splattering all over the place. Or maybe he's in a ship doing, or she's in a place, doing a valiant act of self-sacrifice to make sure that the other people or other characters are going to live. And then they die off. And it's kind of hard for some of those people to understand it. There were shows like that in the 90s as well, in the cartoons I remember watching. Real life. The older you get, the more you're like, whoa. They're doing that one? Case in point. Superman. Two-parter, Darkseid comes to Earth. Tries to kick ass. First off, he converts Superman into a robot for Darkseid's army. A commander of sorts. I call him a robot. He was exactly under Darkseid's orders. And then Superman has threatened the Earth and scared the living crap out of people that he gained trust with. And they no longer trust him at this point over here. They're scared the living crap out of him. They know he's capable of a hell of a lot of stuff, and he saved Earth too many times, including his beloved city of Metropolis that kept getting blown up every so often, or thrashed or crashed or whatever happened to him. And then you had Darkseid coming up. And his Omega beams that came out of his eyes. These were the freakiest damn things I'd seen, because these damn things targeted an object here. These are energy beams that would bend and break the laws of physics in order to get their target, and the target would go boom, including humans. Superman began right behind one particular guy, a Detective Turpin with a mouth. He's a hero. He's a loudmouth with a heart of gold. He didn't take any guff from anybody. And he's given Darkseid a lot of problems here. Superman's right in the middle, Darkseid's right here, and here's Turpin going, la 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 la. Boom! Throws a stun out there. Oh, we're not going to take your guff anymore. So Darkseid with his laser beams going right around Superman, and just there goes Turpin. He's ashes. Ashes. Now, if a kid happened to saw that, I know a lot of kids probably saw that, like, whoa! When you're a young adult, it's like, oh man, and then they go crazy. Then you keep remembering that you saw another series, Japanese series, Macross Society, or they called it Robotech in America. And you saw pilots getting blown out of the sky left and right. You know, you see pilots going into the mechs, and they're going out there and fighting against whatever enemy it is. And then they go boom! Or they get shot up, and you saw them get shot up left crazy. Sometimes you really didn't think nothing about it, but when you got older, it just kind of fiddled around in your head a little bit. That's what it did to mine for so many years. What really got to me, is watching South Park. Heard about it, just didn't care to watch it because the kids were even worse than the kids I went to school with the language and everything else going on. It's almost like going to elementary school. I was at that age, but didn't even pay attention to that damn language. And the attitudes. But as I read further and further into the synopsis of the cartoon series, character name of Kenny. There have been videos posted on YouTube on how many times this poor kid bundled up in a parka, and for about a few seasons, about almost up to 5, I think, the writers got sick and tired of putting this poor kitty into the ground one way or another. Decided to let him live for a while. And they're still making cartoons for this one. But they're not killing Kitty as much. But back about 1 to 5 seasons, yeah, he's comes back alive in the next season. And some of the kids were joking at, well, he comes back alive, he comes back alive. Then there was one season that they didn't do, that Kitty didn't come back alive. That's a reality check right there. That is a major reality check, because that's telling people that this is actually permanent. When you see Kenny going through a lot of mutilations galore and coming back for the next episode, you keep wondering whether or not if this is South Park that's regarding the life and story of Kenny and Kenny's constant dying, or is it the kid's mouth left and right, trying to get them in trouble left and right? I just couldn't get into it. I mean, I saw the YouTube regarding Kenny getting killed so many damn times. The first time it was actually funny. That's disturbing. That's very disturbing. I've seen Kenny get mutilated so many damn times. I'm laughing my ass off at this one. Until I had to see it the second or third time. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I watching this? What the hell's wrong with me? Probably some of the adults will say, well, it's just adult humor. Like, that may be your humor, but, you know, I guess maybe I'm getting too damn old and senile at this point over here. If I'm starting to ignore this kind of stuff. I had seen and have read too many characters getting killed and killed off one way or another. Sometimes they're coming back, and other times they're not coming back. But when I keep hearing kids treating death as nothing but like a joke, that's what really sets me off. There's been videos I've made concerning about the reasons why I've got a problem with death. Short term, I had been dead. Heart operation, 4 years old age, 1970. Leaking plumbing. I had mitral valves leaking. The surgeons had to crack open the chest, literally, open up the heart, do the surgery before I passed away. They had me on a heart bypass machine at the time. I died on them 3 times, came back to life. No, I'm not considered born again. That's going to be another topic for another day on that one. But suffice it to say, I know what it's like to die, come back to life, and it's very disturbing. So I wouldn't recommend it to anybody just yet, not unless they're ready for it and they know it. I'm not ready for it. I may get tired sometimes mentally or physically, but damn it, I'm not that tired. But I'm also not fond of death either. Any way, shape, or form. It doesn't mean I'm looking for immortality. I'm just looking for something other, dealing with things other than laughing at death all the time. Because for me, it's never a laughing matter. And maybe I'm too damn serious and I'm too damn much of a pain in the ass for a lot of people. You know, that's never walked in my shoes in my lifetime, so hardly ever blame them anyway. Watching the cartoons back then, in my adult stage right now, I can try to appreciate the artistry. I can try appreciating anything and everything about the damn thing. I'm like, damn, when I was a young kid, I didn't even think about that one, now did I? Yeah, there was a lot of adult issues. I didn't even think about it back then. Because if I had thought about it during that time, I think I would have been probably a normal kid, or else put me in a straitjacket. Yeah. Still. It's nice to revisit things like that. But it's a trap for me when I start thinking about what could have been, what should have been. It would have been nice if all those nice little cliches we keep using with ourselves, wanting to replay or go back in time. The problem is, with the technology for it, they'll screw things up left and right. Well, if you happen to follow those kind of logic concerning about time travel, one way or another, some things are fixed points and other things are changeable. The problem is, how much of a change are we talking about anyway? And then what kind of effect are we talking about down the road? I know, that's opening up another Pandora's box, so that's another video for another time. Suffice it to say for this evening here, I have some stuff in my mind concerning about, I know I said about the cruising industry, but then also about the cartoons, remembering way back when, what it was like to be that kind of kid back then. But I'll tell you something, if I was more of a mature person back then, maybe it would have been a different viewpoint I would have had on life and everything else. But again, that's the trap we usually keep putting ourselves through in the first place. We gain context of everything as we go through experiences, and you can't get context without going through experiences. And that means we have to go through life as it is, one day at a time, one step at a time, one thing at a time, one whatever it is at a time. But that's it. We can't go back with maturity, and we sure as hell can't go forward if we're stuck in the past. We can try going forward if we're stuck in the past. It might change a hell of a lot of things. And then a hell of a lot of things will be different, so is the context of what we've got. Things are what they are right now, and we have to deal and cope with that. And with that one, I'm going to see if my body's ready to go back to bed again. So we'll see what happens in the morning.